I've been doing a lot of prep work for this week.
Yeah.
Austin, you're not ready for me. I've eaten my SpaghettiOs. I've taken my my vitamin D supplement. I've got various crystals around me to supply me energy for this incoming ass kicking. I considered hiring an Etsy witch to curse Andronicus, but I was concerned that maybe that curse would transfer to you as a person. I'm more powerful than I could possibly be. I'm using the secret. I'm visualizing my victory here.
That's a high-level technique, attacking your DM physically. Be like, oh yeah, I take 15 poison damage? Well, I just stabbed you in the leg. How about that, idiot?
Yeah, now, could I maybe engage in bribery and other forms of negotiation? Yes, but I prefer esoteric combat.
Yeah, I've definitely done that at the table where it's like, oh, you're gonna attack me when I have 3 hit points left? Well, here's a crisp 20. What do you think about that?
Austin, can I... Is that a thing I can do? Can I just send you, like, $20 on PayPal to, like, fudge some numbers for me? Because if so, this is gonna revolutionize the game.
I think I might be at that point, yeah. As part of our introduction, I'm Austin Yorsky, patreon.com/Austin Yorsky. I'm the DM and all the NPCs. And if there's ever been a time to support the show, it'd be now. You could always go over there and see my public income. And the way this show works is if not enough people support the show, it does go away. So something you think about if you do want to send me $20 at any point. But let's go around the table and talk to the other players and get their plugs, because we did have an interesting party split last episode. We're not going to rush, so we might need a 4th episode for this arc, because we have Rex Maximus in the dessert freezer, while Doc Hop and DiCaprio Devereaux go back up topside. So tell me about your items, my draconic friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, my name is Quinn. You can find me over at patreon.com/weeklymanga-recap. And if you want to just read my movie reviews, you can find me on Letterboxd at RoloT. I'm playing DiCaprio Devereaux this season, the fashion dragon who hoards beauty. And I have a couple items on me right now. I have the zipper costume rack, my Gucci sunglasses, my Dyson sphering, my perfume called Illusion. I have the Astrolabe, and I also now am in possession of Neverendol's disc, the nuke.
I'll go next, why not? I'm Laura, I'm playing Doc Hop. I collect thingamabobs and whatsits and doodads. My current list of things that I have is right over here. A trash bag of holding, an out-of-date pop-up book of Goblin history, a lucky plush rabbit's foot, bracket stolen. I don't have that right now, but I'm going to get it back. A child's first trading card deck of No Synergy, a kid's plastic spy kit, and now a chef's hat that gives me cooking proficiency and +1 AC. And that's my stuff. You can find me at Laura K. Buzz on places on the internet. Patreon's what pays my bills. By the time you're listening to this, you can probably go listen to a new series I've started on YouTube called Abletop, where me and Carrie Waterton talk about board game accessibility, and that's a thing you could check out.
That's exciting. You have so many projects. I'm always plugging away at my one thing, and you're like, yeah, I've made 3 new video games and started 5 podcasts.
I'm doing little bits and bobs of things, but yeah, it's a little 6-part contained series where each hour-long episode is like, hey, do you want to know how you can make board games accessible for people with vision disabilities, hearing disabilities, communication, cognitive? Come learn how to make accessible board games over 6 weeks. That's a thing that'll probably be up by now.
Didn't you win a bunch of awards recently?
I won one like last week. It was pretty cool.
Oh, no big deal. Yeah, it was like a whole week ago. I've moved on, Austin.
I love that Dan has to follow this. That it's like, Laura, you're so cool and do so many things, and you won awards, and Dan's about to come in and be like, hey, I'm Dan. I paint a goblin. You can't find me online.
Hey, I'm Dan. You can support me at patreon.com/Austin Yorsky.
In a way.
Yeah, I mean, I will not be around anywhere online if this show doesn't exist. So if you want to keep hearing my dulcet tones, give him, I was going to say $1, but maybe several dollars. I don't know. I'm not your dad. And if I am, I'm not paying child support.
It raises a lot of questions.
You should give me money on my Patreon as well, and I say this because the US government owes me money. I don't think they're ever going to pay me, so you should give me money on Patreon.
Oh no, that's simply not occurring. That's very clear at this point.
With a time delay between recording and release, it's going to be very unlikely the U.S. government will exist by the time people hear this.
Yeah, they promised me money. Stupid country.
When you said Abletop, I didn't consider board games. I went to tops as in Beyblades, and I wasn't really sure how you were going to make Beyblades more accessible.
I was
interested.
3D printed
I was interested.
3D printed larger grips that are easier to hold for people with mobility issues. You know, that's one right for free. I could come up with a dozen ways to make them more accessible. Just give me a few minutes.
I thought Abletop was what The Weeknd calls himself at the Kink Club. It's a very funny joke if you know that R&B star The Weeknd's real name is Abel.
Anyway, I'm playing like Rex or whatever. My current items are a childhood anvil, a ring of the king, a band of the Beast King, my Supreme Court Justice's gavel, and according to Quinn, a New York Giants jersey.
You can use that jersey in real time until Austin tells you can't, by the way. It's like sort of a rule that if he doesn't tell you you have to take that out of your inventory, you do get to just have that and use it.
Yep.
I don't want to push on that support beam because once people realize that I have no power over them, this whole thing falls apart.
And I'm currently in a freezer. I guess melting ice cream inadvertently by my presence.
Yeah, we're going to talk about you in a second. We've had this party split. I'm curious what you mean by you prepared, because does that mean you got like a fondant going? You've gotten your, all your spices laid out, or what goes on there? But let's actually get with Doc Hop and DiCaprio Devereaux, who return to the top of the mesa where everyone is waiting. Or actually, I don't even know if they are waiting for you. I think in the distance, you can hear Andronicus giving a big speech to everyone. He's saying, "Welcome, everybody. We've got to get started shortly. You can see this egg is a-wiggling, and it could be any moment now. So in order to greet the little guy with a big feast, we need to start digging in. So I just want to remind everyone that the first place prize is my Firestone Star, full of powerful magics, and that's going to be only to the number one contestant, but everyone's going to contribute to this little guy's future. So let's have a clean competition. Yes, I see you out there. Put that back." And you hear the crowd laughing as you two are walking up. Is there anything you two want to say or do before you reach the surface?
Yeah, I think DiCaprio is going to say, "So, Hop, are you making some kind of small folk dish then?"
They make this sort of this very basic little sandwich thing, but I'm making a fancy version of it. What are you doing?
Something, exquisite that perhaps I don't even really know right now. You just try to be impressive in the moment. I don't really know. I've never been in the kitchen much. I don't cook, so I'm just winging this, and you can't tell anybody.
I will never tell a soul.
Do you know how to cook? How do you do it?
Generally smush the ingredients together, maybe make them smaller if you want them to sort of cohesion, or larger if you want texture, and then you make it hot.
But I make things cold.
I mean, you can make it cold. Did you get foods that want to be cold?
Does meat want to be cold?
Sometimes.
Is it generally served raw? I eat things raw, but I don't know. We're doing it in our humanoid forms or bigger forms. That's a question I should have asked earlier.
Some of the meats they eat cold, but you make them hot and then make them cold again, so that they're like the good cold.
Jaden Smith-ass tweet.
I think I understand cooking now. I make it hot to briefly then make it cold forever, ideally.
I think yes.
Just wait till they find out about sushi.
Hop is also very quickly casting minor illusion to make this chef's hat not look obviously like the stolen chef's hat.
While you two are talking about what form you're going to do it, and you actually hear part of Andronicus's spiel. That was harder to make possessive than I anticipated. He says, "Now, dragons are faster, stronger, and more magical than anybody else, but of course we do have one slight weakness, which is the same glands that give us our powerful breath weapons, really diminish our sense of taste. I've spent centuries trying to find the ideal form to appreciate all the nuances of all the flavors of the world, and I have perfected my Kirin state. But if you all want to now take your small forms and you be able to handle the cookery, the utensils more efficiently, that would be perfect right now. And look around you, you can see all of my Asimar have any supplies and spices you may need. Just ask, they're here to help. They're all highly decorated, accredited chefs in their own right.
I wave one down to ask if they have sugar too.
Yeah, you two emerge onto the top of the mesa, which you'll recall is this very flat mountaintop, which is just covered in dozens and dozens of huge dragons, which are starting to now, one by one, morph down into the small folk form. You see every named true dragon we've discussed this season in the Roll20. You can see them all. I say true dragon because the siblings are not here. Fairy dragons are dragon kin. Not true dragons. We can discuss that if anybody cares.
Mudblood, some would say.
Why are they even allowed hordes if they're not even proper dragons? Give them back. Give us our stuff back.
I truly just look at the siblings as some Alice in Wonderland like shit that we just need to kill before it spreads into our world.
But yeah, everybody's here, and you can see your father, Orlando, has come back from wherever he went off to, and he is waving you two over as cooking begins. There are dozens of stations set up all across the mesa, like big test kitchens, which have been erected by the Asimars, but it appears that they're basically construction that has been kind of copied and pasted across the mesa, so you can go to any one you want. But there are dozens of them all over the surface under the hot sun, and you can already hear sizzling and chopping and yelling. It's just like a big, busy kitchen in here.
All right, so Dad's waving us over to him.
Correct.
I will like to fly over to Dad because I am going to save the time it would take to walk there. This seems like something urgent.
Yep, your dad is the full Gila monster magnificence, and he says to you, Girls, did you succeed? Did you find what we were looking for? Wink, wink.
We weren't successful, but we've left someone looking, but we came back as to not draw suspicion at our absence.
He seems a little surprised at first, but then a wry smile spreads across his face, and he says, interesting gambit. Maximus has taken on this strategy. He could be blamed if it fails, or he could take all the glory if it succeeds. Ha ha ha. Bold.
Yes, Rex is being quite brave right now.
That's what a true leader does. If he's caught, he will be embarrassed and humiliated and have no one to blame for but himself. But if he's successful, he gets all the credit. You could learn a thing or two.
I think he could do with a win right now, and I hope he gets it.
My goal is to make sure that the plan succeeds, Father.
Well, right now, your goal is to win that Firestone Star. I hear it's quite a powerful magic item, although not an artifact, but more importantly, we don't want Andronicus out maneuvering us, getting too much support, and he waves a claw as if to say, clout. So, also, we must distract others from Maximus's absence, so time to hop to it. Ha ha! I did not mean that. Optimus. Yes. Delightful. He seems suddenly in a much better mood. He was kind of pissy when he left, but now he's like, Rex is doing like a cool, badass thing. Like, that's exciting.
Thankfully, he doesn't know that Rex has a -1 for investigation on his sheet.
No, but he's also very upfront that if you get busted, he's gonna be a total dick about it. Which, yeah. Which is fun. So all around you see people cooking at the stations. There's large cook surfaces. There's all kinds of bowls and magical items and stuff. And there's Asimar running around giving people stuff. The way this is going to work is we're going to make a series of checks for cooking proficiency, which only Doc Hop has. And then there's going to be your rivals all around you who you're going to interact with. So how do you all want to start this?
I just want to say, like, there's like a moment, I guess, where we all have to go to our individual cooking stations. So wherever, at whatever point Hop and DiCaprio have to like kind of split up to go to our own stations, I think DiCaprio is going to say like, good luck, Hop, but enjoy second place.
Good luck to you. I hope your fancy ostentation is appreciated and doesn't take away from the taste of the meal.
That's what people call me, the fancy ostentation. Where'd you find this drawing of the Gila Monster Dragon, Dan, that you just put into the Discord? Is that for us, or is that just an internet image?
This is Google.
Just Google? Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't see that. I guess I didn't Google Gila Monster Dragon. I just found a real picture of a Gila monster for our Discord.
Yeah, which are actually dragons. The government doesn't want you to know this.
Sure. Oh, here's the thing for the audience. I have every picture for every character in the Roll20 right now. Is there anyone who you can't, just by looking at the picture, tell me who they are? I just want to just gauge if I've done a good job introducing all the main characters, because this is almost everyone except for, Keeper and the Cymbeline siblings and Master Humdrum.
Let me see. I believe so. I forget which one is the spitter lizard and which one is the spiky one.
Yeah, so the girdled armadillo lizard, aka the spiky one, is Sycorax. That is Hop's mom, and the frilled lizard is Desdemona. That is your mom. So
Gotcha. I knew it was two of the moms, but I wasn't sure which one's which.
Yeah. I'm picturing like the neck flap, like the Dilophosaurus from the first Jurassic Park, is like a frilly. I'm thinking of it as like part of like a frilly neckerchief, like an ascot or something. That's how I'm remembering it. And the Sycorax is a steel dragon, so think of those plates like armor.
How many Jurassic Parks do you think we are away from them just going, we made a dragon out of the dinosaur parts this time?
I am surprised
Yeah.
it hasn't happened already, if I'm honest.
I haven't seen the new trailer yet, so I don't know.
It seems like they're heading there.
All right. So the way this is going to work is that you all tell me what you're doing. We'll roll for it, and then there's going to be complications because there's 100 other dragons here walking from station to station, saying behind, hot.
Oh God.
Yeah. Guess what? Quinn,
Austin gave us the bear season.
you're in the bear now.
No.
Can I drive the car through the
watching
house?
This from afar.
Except this one, of course, is called the dragon.
Hop
No, it's the bugbear.
That's fun.
Hop is going to start by trying to grab. She's going to try and go for a mix of spices that will walk the line between the very strong, pungent set of spices you would use for an actual dragon form dragon, and the more pedestrian set of spices that apparently we should be tailoring for this sort of humanoid form.
Yeah, so you have proficiency with cooking tools. That is your tool proficiency because of your hat. But you need to walk over to an ASMR to ask them for that. Who is over there? In other words, what NPC will you have an interaction with on your way over there? Everyone's available. Who is in the way? Doc Hop.
Ooh, I don't know. Throw someone at me. I'm too tired for decisions.
It could be your mom. You could just have like a nice decision with or a nice conversation with your mom about
Sure.
cooking.
Or you could have a really shitty conversation with my mom.
Yeah, I mean, there's many things. So you haven't seen Sycorax much. She's, I think, only been on screen when she gave you the Barbus mission. So she is a girdled armadillo lizard folk, and you see she is standing over a wok. She's like squirting some oil in there and looking kind of confused, head tilted. She has like almost like a dog body language right now, like tilting head. What's going on here? As you walk over to get spices.
You having a little trouble with the cooking, Mom?
Yeah, I don't think this is gonna. Oh, I've already started a fire. Well, can't win them all.
I mean, fire is an emotion. You can make a meal that's gonna make someone feel something.
Yeah, there's a pungent air of anxiety all around us. Why does cooking make people so unhappy? Look how stressed they are.
I mean, surely at some point you've had some. You've sucked up some memories of like real food that the small folk thought was real good. Is that emulatable? Can you just go? they liked this. All small folk probably like that.
The food is an endless well of sensation. I got really into sour for a couple years there. You would not believe what it does to humans. Their tongues just disintegrate in their mouths.
I don't know why they enjoy a thing they seem to not enjoy.
It's a mystery to me. But how are you? I haven't seen you in a little bit.
Doing all right. Doing all right. There was some fairy dragons. Real absolute set of bastards we got to deal with. I got a new hat. The hat's looking snazzy. I'm making a fancy sandwich. Stuff's going all right.
What's going on with the Cymbalines?
Oh, they are constantly just trying to pinch things out of people's pockets, and their days are numbered.
Dear, how is that any different than what we do? Do you make all of your hoard items from scratch?
But it's different because, well, I mean, okay, I'm taking stuff that like people have discarded anyway. They don't even want at that point. But we're dragons. Look, I'm not usually one for the respect politics, but we got a level of respect that like it shouldn't be taken from our hoard, you know.
I don't know. I like the Cymbalines. They wind people up, and they're full of so much mirth. Do you know about their breath whipping?
If I do, I've not remembered it.
It's a delightful brew of like, what's the word? Intoxicating happiness and ecstasy. It's like being dosed by a powerful drug.
Okay, well, when I go to get my ship back, I might have to force them to, like, give me a little bit in a bottle I can take home.
Can I get just a persuasion check for this conversation with your mom in general, just to check the vibe of it?
Yeah.
It is very funny to me that Hop goes, we don't steal from hordes, as she just stole from a horde.
Well, yeah, but, like, 14.
Yeah, that's okay. So yeah, she seems perfectly civil with you, nice. She seems almost more like your friend than your mom, which I don't know how you feel about. But compared to like Rosaline, who dotes on Rex, and Desdemona, who is just a nightmare to DiCaprio, this just seems like a friend. So I don't know if you have any thoughts.
Quickly on that note of like having just stolen from a dragon horde, I think the difference is they're not even proper dragons, the Cymbalines. It's like no, they shouldn't be stealing from us. They're pathetic.
I was feeling you approach that point, which is very funny to me. Hop loves small folk, but these fake ass dragons, hell no.
No, yeah, it's small little humanoids with a culture. Sure, things that pretend they're dragons, but they're not even proper dragons. Like that's not as quaint as a small folk. That's like, oh, you're above your station there. Oh.
Sycorax goes on to explain the euphoria breath, which is what they literally do have, and in somewhat excited tones. And I think her disapproval of your approach is pretty clear.
Yeah, that's fair.
She seems to like them. So
look, I like. I get you. It feels different when it's my stuff.
Tell your mom she better enjoy them while they're still around.
Yeah, your mom gives up on the walk, which has just burned everything inside it to an absolute crisp, and she says, "Maybe a soup. What do you think?"
I think soup is great. I think if you're gonna try the heat again, I remember I saw this in a small folk book. Low heat over lots of time is not the same as high heat over short time. You can't substitute them. Like turn the heat down. It'll take a minute, but it'll do it.
Doctor, I'm not a mathematician here. I'm an artist. Maybe I'll do something simpler. I'm gonna actually roll her cooking proficiency which is going to have a huge minus on it. I am going to be keeping track of everyone's scores, because the way this works is whoever rolls the highest cumulative rolls wins the cooking competition.
Ooh.
So with Sycorax here, a 6. Not impressive. She burns the soup.
How?
Hop writes down a list of basic facts that are how to not just absolutely disintegrate food. This is aimed at the sort of category of I want to be clear enough with these instructions you couldn't set the cornflakes on fire.
Above you, you see Andronicus flying over. He has huge feathered wings, which puts him apart from most other dragons who have like a leathery reptilian wings. And he is holding the yellow gold dragon egg in his claw as he flies over and seems to be talking to it. He's like, yes, you see? That's fine technique there, Ulysses. Remember that.
Am I able to kind of bump into Andronicus? Because I would like to really cement that he is not going, like, I want to try to guarantee that there's at least a portion of Rex's time that I know Andronicus is not going to be going after him.
If that's what you want to do with your turn, you absolutely can fly up and talk to him.
Yeah, I think I think she's kind of telling some of the angels to kind of help her with like the meaningless prep work, and it's really just her excuse to fuck off for a little bit. She has no idea what she's doing anyway. So,
okay.
Yeah,
the Asimar, which are kind of like people who have angel heritage, they look like kind of ethereal humans. We'll start chopping up the. Let's see, you're making pasta, so you have a vegetable medley they can start working on to help you.
There we go.
Yeah, and you're gonna fly up to see Andronicus.
Yeah. And just be like, are you able to view everything from up here? Wouldn't it be an assault of different sort of sense?
I will walk down there in my Keyrin form as the day wears on, but I want to get a bird's eye view and just make sure everyone's getting off to a nice start, see if anybody needs any help. And the sun up here is so warm, it's good for the egg, he says, holding it up.
Oh, and little Ulysses, I believe I heard, is ready for the world soon.
Any moment, I think we'll probably use that as the end of the competition. When he bursts forth, it'll be feasting time. Well, what a first day to remember.
It really seems like you've sort of taken a liking to this one.
Well, I've had many an apprentice over the years, but none I've been able to shape since the very beginning. You know, when people come to me, usually they have bad habits and biases, which I have to correct.
So you want to be able to sort of mold it from birth to be exactly like you.
I am the head chef, of course, but I must delegate. I think everyone's going to be taking turns, so everyone will get a little bit of help here.
No, I'm impressed with your methods. I'm always sort of curious how you view the world, Andronicus. You seem to have a sort of disconnect to the other desires that dragons have.
Yes, most dragons have much more limited worldviews, but, my horde is likewise not very impressive by comparison, so there's been a cost.
I am sure that you have something to your horde that you can consider on the pedestal of what us other dragons have, even the ones I aspire to be like one day. And can I roll an insight on his answer here?
Absolutely.
Okay, I am going to also use my Gucci glasses to give me proficiency in insight for this.
Sounds good.
14.
It's above average, yeah. What do you want to know specifically?
I'm trying to gauge, basically, if he's trying to hide anything. Does he know that if he has like a super nuke down there or something like that, or something that could be like extremely dangerous, or is he just like, nah, man, they're just flavors, dude?
Yeah, I think last episode he offered to give you a tour down there, so he has a pretty open attitude about the whole thing. Yeah, you don't detect any deception or anything. He seems like he's being pretty legitimate about all that. He is the next in line after your dad, but doesn't seem to be interested in ruling. doesn't seem to even be around very often. So it's got an interesting wrinkle to the games of power here in the Cookie Mountains.
Yeah. I think DiCaprio is just going to kind of maybe zero in on that a little bit and just sort of be like, it always feels like you're somebody I should be very terrified of. The second strongest dragon. I mean, really, if it's anybody, it would probably be you, wouldn't it?
Well, it's been quite a while since I've gotten to test that out. But if you ever want, to see me in action, yeah, show me some really bad gumbo or something, and I'll show you how strong I can be.
It's really just a pure fascination with food with you. You're just enchanted by that and nothing else?
Well, when you've lived as long as I have, there's not much left to do. I've beaten all my enemies. I've seen the whole world. I've read all the books I care to read. What else is left? If they invent a sixth sense, I will indulge that one. But for now, it seems to be the limits of what there is in the world.
Well then, do you care to give me any advice on how to prepare a Tarrasque meat then?
That is, of course, the most difficult and subtle of the meats. It's going to take every moment you have. You've come up here to discuss with the judge when you probably should be preparing your Tarrasque. I would post haste get down there and begin the process. But yeah, low and slow and careful. It's quite a dense meat and you can easily destroy it.
Oh, absolutely. This was really all just, part of the presentation of the dish, really. Cutting it down to the last second is how I like to do things. And she's going to kind of like casually stroll off, but she's going to be hoofing it. Like whatever I need to do to go fast, but act like I'm being like super cool about it is what I want to do right now.
A peregrine falcon dive.
Yeah.
As you go back down to the cooking station, you see, Barbus suddenly shout and drop a bag as a rat comes out carrying his ingredients in its mouth and running away.
Oh dear, Barbus, your rat's getting away.
Agent Cheezers has completed his mission.
These motherfuckers vex me for last time. He shakes his fist.
Oh, it's the buff rats from Demon Slayer. That's who I've got working for me.
Yeah, so literally you have taken Enobarbus out of the competition with your rat bomb. Let's cut to Rex Maximus. You're in the dessert freezer. It is magically cold. It's a floor-to-ceiling walk-in. There's the floor you walk in on, which is just dozens and dozens of cakes and pies and torts and all the things that you would see in a patissiere. And then there's a second floor, which apparently is just 100 million cookies of every variety, the namesake of these mountains. What do you do?
Man, it's gonna be real funny when there really are only cookies in here. But yeah, Rex's mindset is that we only checked part of this area, right? We didn't even get to the cookies. And he refuses to he's not really a liar, right? At his core. He only didn't talk about the disc because his mom was implicated in it, and that was his main concern. So he refuses to go to his father and say, yeah, we checked everything, we couldn't find it, when that isn't true. You either do the job or don't. So he's going to start going through the parts that he hasn't seen yet to see if he can find anything.
I believe last episode we rolled investigation, survival, and arcana. So to look through the food here, I think actually what I want is a nature check, because we're talking about ingredients.
Mm-hmm. Okay. He's also going to be very angrily eating the leftover Brontosaurus ribs now.
Okay. Yeah. As Andronicus says, your fire breath gives everything you have ever eaten a kind of smoky flavor. So...
I got a botch, so
oh my
0.
Word. Oh my god.
I don't think my visualization with the secret has worked particularly well.
Yeah, you should have got those TikTok witches or whatever to hex me, because you're fucked now, bud.
Quick dance
when
and
you said
$20.
preparing, I fully assumed Andronicus is going to come down here and kick my ass. What I'm visualizing is me surviving that fight.
So right now, Andronicus is flying over the cooking competition from the sky, supervising everything. With a botch, you start looking row by row, cookie after cookie, very methodically. And the botch consequences, you don't hear the door open and someone come in until they're behind you, and you hear a crunch noise, and the person says, "You are in quite a pickle."
Do I recognize this voice? Is this Safety Certificus?
It sure is Safety Certificus, the Gray Dwarf. You turn around and you see he is eating a huge fucking pickle.
I think Rex will cross his arms and say, "I don't think either of us are going to end up too well if we both get caught down here."
Who cares what a small folk does? It is you who is somewhere they're not supposed to be.
Can I incite him saying he's a small folk?
Absolutely.
Because he's a weird guy was actively engaging in this dragon-only event while everyone else wasn't bringing their small folk.
Sure.
So maybe Enobarbus just really likes this guy. But who knows? What is my insight? I have a 1 to that.
Yeah, while you're rolling insight, I'll say this is a gray dwarf, so it's like an ashy skin, like ghost white beard, bald. You've seen this guy a couple times. Pretty mysterious.
I got another one.
No way. Are you out of your mind? Did you botch again?
I mean, yeah, I've not had any luck in most of these small folk rolls, so
Dan,
is what
if I manage at some point this season to get the Lucky Rabbit's foot back, I'm giving it to Rex.
Wow, this is so interesting. Yeah, I know earlier in the season you had a run of bad rolls, and you're like, I really pictured Rex Maximus being like a super badass, capable guy, and he keeps fucking up.
Mechanically, I actually kind of figured this would happen with a level 1 character sheet, because it's so skill focused, right? And I was like, okay, we have 2 people that in a level 20 fight are going to get torn apart like tissue paper. So I obviously have to play kind of a physical character. The downside to that is, if you look at a D&D character sheet, there is one one skill that uses strength and nothing that uses constitution.
Yep. Well, no matter what stats you have here, botches are botches. So you look safety certificates up and down as he finishes his pickle and says, "Enobarbus would be disappointed if I killed you. He wants Master Humdrum's secrets to pass to someone long-lived. And your father, of course, would take you to the Resurrection Island. You'd be back in what? Months, years?"
And you want to kill me over that? That I'm being taught by Humdrum and not you?
I want to kill you because you're a brat.
Get in line then, or take a swing.
Your father protects you now, but if he was gone, what would you be then? Enobarbus could have you in a jester's costume, caping for his amusement tomorrow, if your father's heart gave out.
I'll remind you, the moment I got my claws on Enobarbus, he wasn't doing so hot. And there's a little bit of fire seeping out of Rex's mouth.
Yeah, he sees the little bit of fire and says, "Yes, turn into your adult form, destroy everything in here, and embarrass yourself fully. Great idea."
I'm not as book read as my sisters. But I'll make a point. Why don't I make a deal with you here right now, then? You obviously don't like me. You obviously want me dead. You could probably dispose of a body. I won't turn into a dragon. Fight me.
Safety Certificus fully leans back and belly laughs and says, "You're so confident, you have no idea what I am capable of." And he waves both of his hands around, and they are both summoning wisps of shadow. It's almost like liquid shadow begins pouring out of his hands, and he kind of almost manifests the Humdrum Deep Breath Tower Shield, with the dwarven face on it, and a metal cylinder that looks familiar. Do you remember this object?
A metal cylinder.
A handheld metal cylinder.
It's the lightsaber.
Yeah. As the Doc Hop fixed it at the beginning of the Enobarbus arc. To you, it just looks like kind of a metal stick, and then suddenly it explodes into blinding light as a white hot blade erupts out of it.
When Safety Certificate starts like laughing and saying, "Oh, you don't know what I'm capable of, right?" Rex is gonna laugh and say, "I don't. You could be the strongest small folk in the world. You might be able to kill me, but you think I'm gonna back down? That's loser shit. And I play to win."
Wow, this will be fun. Roll initiative.
19.
Oh, 7. Yes, Safety Certificates has a fucking lightsaber and an invincible shield. What do you do, human man?
Okay. Let's see here. Well, I got a little gavel. Maybe I'll just start clubbing him over the head. He has to actually defend himself with the shield, so I think Rex is gonna just try to fucking maul him.
Yeah.
And I will attack him and then use Draconic Rush to immediately attack again. 18, 19.
Both of those miss. He blocks them effortlessly with the tower shield, and he says, "Why do you disrespect Enobarbus when he has given you another chance to learn the secrets of the dwarves?"
In what, the competition?
Your every action disrespects him. You come into his home, you rifle through his things, you melt the shopping cart wheels. What is your problem?
The world doesn't remember people who come second. Would I have picked anyone else if I could have? To steal those biscuits from? Of course. But unfortunately, he was in my way this time. I had no interest in rifling through Enobarbus' crap. It's a job. I've been told to do it, and I'm getting it done.
The first thing you've ever said that I respected. And it is the same with me. It is my job to protect Enobarbus from whelps like you. And he's going to attack you. 22.
Yeah, I'll hit.
All right. You take 11 damage from the lightsaber.
Okay. I have 2 hit points.
All right, yeah, this is a 1v1 level 1 humanoid fight. He slashes you, it burns like hell, and you stumble back. You're once again remember fighting in this magical freezer. There's like all kinds of whipped creams around you. There's a big Jello mold. It's not the most dignified fight of all time, but he's advancing on you.
Damn, I forgot. I don't. I was gonna say, I have my hill giant feat. The thing that lets me not be moved, lets me gain extra health back if I eat food during a short rest. So I was gonna start gorging myself on the cookies and shit. But unfortunately, I do not have that at level 1.
You've got your trading card that could
I
help.
don't have a holodeck to play it on. I don't think. I can't technically, I guess, draw it either, which doesn't feel. It wouldn't feel like fair to the gimmick, I guess. I got my breath weapon, so I'll try to set him on fire, I suppose.
All right, yeah. What's that save?
That would be a dexterity save.
Oh, not good at that. 2! That's a botch. Doesn't matter that it's a botch, but he fails big time.
Okie dokie. So that's 2d6. 11 damage.
Wow, you did 11 damage and he did 11 damage. I will say that the shield gives him an incredible AC, but he's still vulnerable to area of effect attacks when you belch up fire everywhere. And you do melt some ice cream in here, and he looks over there and says, "You're giving up your advantage. If Andronicus knows you are here, and you come away empty-handed, the embarrassment will be multiplied. Better to lose with dignity."
There is no dignity in a loss.
Oh, Rex.
Let us find out. So you both did 11 damage to each other, or you both have Very low hit points. 21.
I mean, yeah,
6 damage.
I had 2 hit points, so yeah, I'm down.
Paint me the picture. I mean, this isn't your real body, so eventually when you go back to adult form, anything will be kind of reconstructed. This is all, Play-Doh flesh, but he also knows if he strikes you dead, then that'll create more problems for him. So he won't do that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I assume like Rex, what is it? Oh no, okay. He does the like lightsaber, he swings at him, and Rex like tries to dodge or block or whatever, but he does that thing where he turns it off, and then just fucking gets Rex in the gut and just starts bashing him in the face with the tower shield until Rex goes down.
Wow, okay, so you get stabbed in the stomach, and then he starts pulverizing your head with the shield as we hard cut back to the cooking competition.
Yep.
Incredible.
Jesus. Okay. So can I get some paprika?
Absolutely. I will say we didn't get our first cooking rolls, so I need them from Doc Hop and DiCaprio. But yeah, you're putting this.
Is this the level? Is this the level 1 stat?
Currently, yeah, everyone's using those.
Yeah.
14.
All right, let me write that down.
21.
Wow. Hop 21. DiCaprio 14, pretty good. So DiCaprio, you start putting the Tarrasque steak onto some kind of grill or something, and your dad comes over and he says, what have you got there, DiCaprio?
Something that's going to win a competition.
I noticed the marbling from a mile away. It's a fine cut, but if you trust me, I might have something even better.
What are you proposing?
Well, Tarrasques are quite endangered, you see.
You would kill one of your endangered Tarrasques to get a fresher cut of meat here?
Well, I have a few to spare, and I believe in you. You're going to win, aren't you?
Yes. And if I am going to win, I don't need your Tarrasque to do it. I'm more than capable, Father. Plus, it's your hoard. You shouldn't be serving it to others.
Well, DiCaprio, I'm not giving you my breeding pair. You see, I've been working on a toy Tarrasque bloodline. But if you don't want my help, that's fine. I thought maybe we could connect over this, but if you don't need me...
No, I mean, that's actually, Dad, it's interesting you say it's a great idea. This actually, I think I might have even, oops, I dropped that one. So yeah, I think I'm going to need it. It's the only option I have now.
Yes. So I didn't have this planned. You just picked Tarrasque last episode, and I'm just rolling with this because it occurred to me he might have one. So he will literally go fly back to his lair and get an even fresher Tarrasque which will give you bonuses to your rolls for this.
Wow.
He does see Doc Hop, you're preparing your stuff, and he says, don't push down on you'll get the liquid will come out. It'll dry it out. Remember.
Thankfully, I've watched a lot of small folk cooking. I think I'm doing okay.
Wonderful. I'll be right back. And your father takes to the sky. He's so excited to grill with his children.
What's the cooking show in this universe? Contessa the Barefoot?
I think it's like, cooking it up with Andronicus or something. He is the.
Oh wow!
He's the guy. Yeah, no.
Diners, Dives, and Dragons.
Yeah,
caves, caverns, and cooking.
There's been this meme image of diners, drive-ins, and Dungeons and Dragons floating around, and I still say check the dates. We said that first. That's a Dice Funk original. If anybody can find an earlier image of that than when we said it, I will concede.
There's actually a fair amount of results for Guy Fieri Dragon.
Yeah. I was thinking about making Andronicus a Guy Fieri dragon, but I didn't know if he was problematic. It's not clear to me what his whole situation is.
As far as I'm aware, he seems to just be kind of a nice guy.
So yeah, that's why I went with Gordon Ramsay, who apparently is a sweetheart in real life, as opposed to his persona on TV. But yeah, okay, so we got 14 and 21. Those are great rolls. Compare, for example, to Sycorax's 6. You two are off to a great start. Who else do you talk to? I'm going to put the Sycorax icon back in the cloud there.
This is someone else I have to talk to then. It's not just gonna be Dad coming back. We do some father-daughter time.
He'll be back eventually, but no, while you got to go and prepare your pasta, you're going to run into someone else at the water boiling station. Who's that?
Yeah. You know who it's going to be, Austin.
What, Viola? You said you wanted to spend time with her.
I do, but we know what the most dramatic option is, right?
Yeah, I didn't know you wanted to hit the button. Push the button.
I think there is something so wonderful that DiCaprio is looking at her father fly off, and there's maybe even a little bit of a smile on her face that she does get to spend this time with the parent, and then she'll turn to go grab something, and it's immediately face to face with the parent she hates.
Maybe don't say push the button when she's carrying a nuke.
Sorry, I've had galvanized by the Chemical Brothers in my head ever since I saw Sonic 3. And so I just push the button is half of my brain at this point. So Desdemona is currently a Eladrin, an ethereal, tall, regal elf carrying a wine glass as she kind of wanders around. It doesn't seem immediately clear what she's cooking. She more seems to be spying on other people while day drinking.
Oh, is that, what, your 7th or 8th glass today, Mother?
Mother? I think you've got me confused with someone else.
Sorry, yes, Des. No one could mistake you for a mother.
Oh, are you not drinking? I guess we are on the job, aren't you? As the help, it probably wouldn't be appropriate for you to have a drink.
No, I suppose not. And I appreciate that you considered everyone's workplace safety and made your nose a little bit smaller this time.
Well, the small snouts are in this season. I suppose you hadn't heard.
Oh, I'm on touch, darling. I just, thought someone who wanted perfection would have a bit more taste.
What if she just rolls initiative on you?
Does she also have a lightsaber?
It's very funny because I only really experience this sort of thing in television where usually a character gets huffed up and leaves. I don't know what actually happens if we just continue going at each other like this.
She says, was that your father leaving the competition early? He give up already?
Father's just looking to, spend time with somebody who he appreciates. Me, in case you were wondering. It's about me.
Oh, I assumed it was another slut, yes.
Yeesh.
Well, now I don't even really want a DiCaprio Desdemona fight. I want a Rosalind to Desdemona fight.
I think DiCaprio is just going to be like, really, Des, why are you even here at this point? We all know you're not going to bother making something.
Oh, I might amuse myself if I take an interest in something. I'm just looking around, but, we must be seen at these social things. It wouldn't do to cloister oneself in the lair. Quite gauche.
Quite gauche indeed. Which brings me to a thought. I spoke to Lady Falcondridge recently.
Yes, how is the dear?
She's doing great. She's really thriving in this current environment, though she did note that her hoard collection was going a little bit slow because of a bit of a blockade.
Yes, I suppose that's what happens when you consort with lowlifes.
What would it take for you to consider working with her again?
Oh, now you're coming to me for help.
Look, obviously I understand what I'm asking for, but let's just cut the shit and get to it already. I'm not really here for your victory lap.
Oh, so direct now. Grown up.
Well, some of us had to grow up, Mother. Des.
Yeah, you only ever grew up because I protected you.
Is that what we're calling it now?
And that's what I'm calling it. I don't think you brought the necessary apology items. I'm not seeing any of my vintage collection you stole when you left, so seems like an incomplete gesture.
That is something, of course, that we have no doubt discussed. It is just a coincidence that I left around the same time that something went missing from your hoard.
Really? You're going to lie to me, Misty, in front of Andronicus? She gestures up at him as he's flying around. Like,
Really? In front of my soup?
yeah.
It's also burned. Look. I might have known something about it, but those items are, of course, gone. I can give you something of an equal monetary value, of course, or greater, or go out of my way to find something perfect to add to your ever-growing collection. But I don't have what you looked for before, and honestly, those things were not perfect, they were hideous, so I did you a favor.
Of course, it's not about the monetary value, Misty. Fortunes mean nothing to me. It's about the principle of the thing. If we could have some sort of opportunity for you to take responsibility, maybe that would be a start, but I can't imagine you have it in you to admit you were wrong.
I mean, was it wrong of me to leave the home of my negligent, hideous, kind of smelly mother? I don't think so. But was it perhaps inappropriate of me to maybe make my exit through your hoard and maybe grab something along the ways? Yes, that was not the best, but I needed to do what I needed to establish myself. And it's DiCaprio, by the way, now. Des.
I'm not going to dignify your baseless accusations. It lowers us both. But perhaps you could make it up to me, but this is not a good start.
Just tell me whatever you want, Des. Do you want me to make some sort of grand gesture here? What are we talking about?
Yes, I think that would be quite the nice start. I am having an event. Maybe in the coming months, somewhere maybe you could have a big speech apologizing to me and telling everyone the truth about what happened. You know, I don't go around spreading rumors of your thievery that reflects poorly on me, but, you know, there could be a forum where amends could be made.
You know, no one outside of our family is supposed to know about what happened.
Well, perhaps our family will be expanding, and more people will need to know.
What's the attire for the event? What can I dazzle in?
Well, I'm sure that your small folk can't acquire this season's finest, so last season's will probably be fine enough. I'll make excuses for you.
Perhaps I could find something vintage to go along with your musty hoard, you know, so it all matches.
Is the verbal sparring performance or intimidation?
I feel as though there is something like, there is a history to this. Like, I feel like they've gone over some of these barbs in the past, so I think there is a level of performance to it.
Okay, roll me performance. I think she might think it's fun when you talk shit, to an extent.
Yeah. So, 12.
All right, that's okay. It's not. It doesn't make anything worse, but it doesn't.
This wasn't one of our best back and forths. We had one in Rio back in the day. It was wild. The things we said, we should have been kicked out of that hotel.
Yeah. So I think she trades insults with you for a little bit, but she's telling you that if you are willing to make a big public declaration that you've been a bad daughter, she might be willing to forgive you. And she's telling you that she's holding an event in the near future. So those are important factors.
Little details DiCaprio's keeping in mind as she goes back to work on her food because she's been distracted too much probably already.
Yeah, I'm actually going to roll here for Desdemona. Also not good at cooking. Let's see. 0. 3 minus 3.
Wow. She's legit not trying. Like, I imagine there's just an empty plate and she's doing her nails above it.
That's a DNF if I've ever seen one.
She just pushes around ingredients on a cutting board for a little bit and then just gives up and walks away. That's hilarious. What a fucking loser.
They do like the idea she just carries a bowl of soup around with her everywhere.
Yeah. Doc Hop, what are you doing?
I'm trying to resist the urge to just go start hitting on one of your exes.
You got a 20 when you rolled in Falconbridge in performance at the beginning of this, so she established was interested in you between the two of you and Rex.
I mean, maybe a little bit more conversation wouldn't hurt.
Okay, Lady Falconbridge is a blue tiefling. She is has a big cauldron she is stirring things in as you go over to get something for your sandwich because you're making BLTs.
Yeah. Hey, how's the food doing?
It's bubbling nicely. I was surprised that the ichor absorbed the flavor so readily, but my minions only get the best.
Well, you are a considerable step ahead of everyone else who set the heat to full and then wondered why everything burnt. So you're doing pretty good.
Thank you. Was it Dr. Hop, was it?
Yeah. There is a doctorate.
Quinn just said in the chat, I hope I'm getting across DiCaprio doesn't remember Falconbridge's name.
Yeah, when I first established these two characters, I just said that DiCaprio doesn't really remember the first one's name or something like that. Like, I got it wrong. And I was like, shit, I just characterized this entire relationship in the moment. So, yeah, she just doesn't remember her name.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's really interesting.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, but yeah, Falconbridge says, "Are you related to DiCaprio? Are you adopted or is she adopted?"
Yeah. We share a parent. We all the siblings we got one parent in common.
So you got all the book smarts, I take it?
I got all the fascinated with what all the small folk are up to, which apparently not to everyone's taste, but I just love watching them scurry around and seeing what they're up to.
Have they acquired anything good recently? I hear you've got a lot of interesting cultural history. I'm something of a historian myself.
Well, they've recently been collecting a bunch of historical outfits from sort of businesses that no longer exist, and it's been interesting seeing them sort of becoming factional a little bit, depending on which outfits which have found and how they've sort of reinterpreted those through a different cultural lens.
Oh, factions, you say? How do you keep them in line? I have so much difficulty with my fiends, my incubi, my succubi. They're always plotting and scheming on each other.
I've not had that much trouble. I've cultivated a group of them that are just very invested in being their own little self-sustaining colony, and the fact that doesn't work unless they all pitch in, even at their most, when they separate into their little groups, they seem to get that it doesn't work unless they all do their stuff.
Goblin communism, you say?
Gobulism. No, I can't combine
No, gobulism, you got it.
Yeah, gobulism.
What's gobulism?
Yeah, once you take the time to work out what it is they care about and the things that a lot of their historical conflicts have been over, and make sure those needs are met. A lot of it is just they were fighting over needing enough to get by, and now they have what they need, and that seems to have stopped them fighting.
So they don't have a leader? Is there not one that is more prestigious than the others?
they sometimes have leaders, but it's more like whichever one of them is better at the task of like making sure they know which one's organized seems to end up being the one that tells them what to do.
Who's your favorite historical goblin? Is there like one very famous, beloved one, or a terrible monster that is?
Gorbo got herself.
Oh. I think Hop's gonna go grab out the out-of-date pop-up book of Goblin history and go, I do not know whether this one is real, but I have a book that suggests that there was a goblin who somehow learned to play 6 instruments at one time. I don't know how there were enough limbs to do it.
Whoa.
Oh shit, that is actually one of my character ideas for a new season.
The illustration does not make it clear. There are hands where I don't think goblins have hands, but I love the idea that this goblin was real, and I've yet to find anything that corroborates their existence beyond a largely farcical tale.
Wow, do you think they left any items behind?
I mean, my best guess is that they didn't need lots of extra hands because this was it wasn't 6 instruments, it was one big instrument, and I would love to find the one instrument you put on a goblin and now it's 6 instruments.
Oh, I would love that too. She seems genuinely interested. I think I've said before, Lady Falconbridge collects celebrity memorabilia, so if you found the hexa instrument, the 6-parted instrument of the famous goblin, she would be extremely excited about that.
I'm picturing this as basically like some kind of apparatus that's a one-man band harness.
Yeah. Can I get a history with advantage here to know if that is a thing you can actually recover?
20.
All right, yeah, 20's good. Not a crit, but a 20. I think that you could send your goblins to find that if you wanted to, if that's something you wanted to do. Curiously, because you've rolled 20 on Falconbridge twice, I think you are firmly putting yourself into some kind of contention here. I think after you get whatever spices you came for, whatever utensils, Lady Falconbridge asks almost like casually, "Oh, are you seeing anyone, by the way?"
Not at the moment. I'm going to be honest. Most people not a fan of my whole. This is the first time in a while I've spoken to anyone who had follow-up questions about any of my stuff. No.
But you're a doctor.
Yeah, but look, I'm going to be honest. Most people, what they hear is Doctor of Trash.
When you say you're not seeing anyone, somewhere out in the world, Gertrude, the steam genie, looks around, feels
Look,
something.
Gertrude was on the table, and then Gertrude just completely vanished, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess we're not exploring that at the moment.
Well, she has stuff to do, but an interesting choice here. Can I get actually perception from Doc Hop and DiCaprio as you're getting all your supplies, you're getting to the next stage of your cooking?
Perception.
Oh, that sounds like Andronicus left.
16.
19.
16 and 19 succeed. Both of you are able to see that Sycorax has gotten in over her head. She has burned the soup. She spilled the wok. She's made a huge mess, and she starts trying to clean it up with magic. And she accidentally does a enchantment spell and raises up a milk elemental, an oil elemental, and a soup elemental, which begin knocking things all around, going wild here. You can roll initiative to help her get this under control, otherwise they are going to rampage through the kitchen.
And this is level 1, pick a fight with these elementals.
It's up to you. You can be level 1 or you can be level 20.
So, I have maybe an important question I have to ask you, Austin. Before I make this decision to jump in, did I notice at all my younger sister hanging out with my ex-girlfriend?
I think that's a roleplay decision.
I know, and I'm trying to decide, because I feel like DiCaprio would want to jump in, but if she saw that, she might be like, maybe your own goddamn mom can solve her problems.
Look, remember, this is the ex that you can't remember the name of, so how mad could you be?
I am gonna say that she is not seeing that, and she is going to come over and help.
So I suppose we're outside, and as such, we can like fly high enough up that we don't damage anything, become dragon, attack down precisely, I guess. Okay. Sure, I'll help. 11. Oh no, I get something on... one sec, I get something on initiative. I forget what it is. I've got alert. What does alert do to do with initiative? Sorry, one sec.
I think you get a +5.
Yeah, I do. That's it. 16 on initiative.
I got 17. So the elementals win. Can I get strength, dexterity, and constitution saves from both of you as the superheated soup elemental burns you, the oil elemental makes you slip all around, and the milk elemental tries to like wrestle into your face and nose and eyes and mouth and overwhelm you.
I knew I was gonna get milked to death during this fucking arc. I just knew it was gonna happen.
Sorry, what were the 3 rolls in order?
Strength, dexterity, and constitution.
Quinn, can I put that on your tombstone? I knew I was going to get milked to death.
Yeah, go for it. 19, 7, and 8. So I am going to fail the milk, and I think the oil one. I forget which one was which.
You failed 2. So you take bad. Only 9 damage to DiCaprio, and
7, 21, and 4.
And you also failed 2, so you take 15 hop as the elementals start battering you. They have just been birthed by powerful magics and are just running wild, trying to attack everyone around them.
This is what happens when you don't pasteurize milk.
Yeah. So it is now Doc Hop's turn. There are 3 elementals. What do you do?
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna cast Force Cage on one of them.
Whoa. Force Cage, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a 10-foot by... Just because I haven't had an opportunity to use this, because whenever we're in level 20 form, we're fighting against other dragons, and they're all bigger than what this spell is good for. I'm gonna make a 10-foot cube prison box out of invisible magic that I can spring into existence around an area of my choice. And I want to trap one of these elementals in a magic invisible box.
Okay, Force Cage is a level 7 spell. An immobile, invisible, cube-shaped prison comprised of magical force springs into existence. There's no save here. I think you just immediately put one of the elementals in a box, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, and what were they made of again? There was oil, milk, and...
Soup. It's a broccoli cheddar soup elemental.
Ooh, can I trap the soup one with the aim of maybe using a bit of it to flavor my sandwich with?
Sure, absolutely.
Cool.
You would trap the soup
like elemental. A little broccoli and cheddar, just like a little drizzle of it in the sandwich. I think that would probably go quite nicely with bacon and the tomato.
Sycorax yells after you, sorry.
That's okay. Wouldn't have picked this ingredient, but I think it might work.
DiCaprio?
Yeah, I want to cast a spell called Power Word Stun, and I want to just try to basically dumbfound one of these elementals and give it time to be, like, disenchanted, essentially. So I need a Constitution saving throw. Or no, if you just have 150 or less hit points, it happens. Never mind.
Yeah, so the Constitution saving throw is to get unstunned. So yeah, you what's the power word?
Do I do funny? Yeah, it's gotta be like funny, right? It's gotta be like fetch or some stupid shit like that, right? Like,
I think it's a comedy show. I think if you just said like tomato, that's not really that funny. But if you said,
wait, whoa, suddenly tomatoes aren't funny? Those have been hurled at clowns for years.
You're right. No, I'm sorry. I was gonna say
yeah.
an inherently funny word like moist or anti-disestablishmentarianism, but you're right, tomato's better.
Yeah, so I say tomato, and the elemental's just like, whoa, this edgy humor is too much for me. I can't stand this.
Okay.
And is so stunned by the keynote of this joke that they're just, immobilized and eventually unmagified.
Okay, is that the milk or the oil? Because it's going to matter what saving throw you need to make when it attacks.
It's gonna be the oil one because that seems like the more dangerous one to have running around. But I'm not a fan of getting double milked.
So many episode titles to choose from. Strength saving throw as the milk elemental tries to suffocate both of you. It is, whirling around in a rage, lashing out. That's what I need from you.
Austin, does a 12 save?
It does not.
No.
It should be more than... Strength should be more than +1. That should be... Yeah, +5. 11.
You both fail and take 13 damage as you're battered by 100 gallons of angry milk.
Not again. All right, 13.
13, and it's Doc Hop's turn.
Okay, so that's not a concentration, so I can be getting on with other spells. I'm trying to look for things I haven't had a chance to do yet that could be cool. Ooh, let's go for this one. This is another one I've not really had a chance to do yet. I'm gonna cast Dominate Monster.
Okie dokie. Pretty bad saving throw here from this milk elemental. 9. I guess he's your best friend now.
Yeah, I attempt to beguile a creature I can see within range. It is charmed for the duration. I have a telepathic link with it as long as we are on the same plane of existence. I can issue commands to the creature while I am conscious, and it will do its best to obey.
Yeah, so you've trapped one elemental in a force cage, and you have one ensorcel to be your friend. So with this fight concluded, you've saved the kitchen from being destroyed by the rampaging elementals. But you have now 2 resources to use in cooking now, Doc Hop.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm gonna.
Anyone want to trade me rare condiments for a large amount of milk or soup?
To end this vignette of the cooking contest, can I get cooking rolls with doubled proficiency for these resources, Doc Hop?
And this is back to level 1 for the cooking.
Yes, because that's the only time you can wear the chef's hat.
Yeah. Very very quickly. I will go give some of the soup elemental to Mum to be a starter base for making a new soup.
Okay.
Okay, so with double advantage, did you say?
Yeah, with double proficiency.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, double proficiency, yeah. 15.
Do I get a bonus from Dad?
Not yet.
Okay. 12.
All right, DiCaprio, you've gotten 12 and 14, so that is 26. Doc Hop, you've gotten 21 and 15. And actually, I need to roll for Falconbridge. She is much better at cooking than most of the other NPCs around here. 21.
Am I in the lead, or is Falconbridge in the lead at the moment?
I rolled for 1. 11. So that puts Falconbridge at 32 and you at 36. So
Okay, cool.
You were just in the lead. I will say that appears to be shaping up to be the biggest competition. But you two are getting near the end, and let's cut back to Rex Maximus, who has been beaten to a bloody pulp in the basement.
Yep. How does it get worse?
That's a great question.
What's happening now?
So, yeah, safety certificates doesn't kill you for multiple reasons, as he explained. One is that it will disappoint Barbas, who's trying to pass on Master Humdrum's blacksmithing techniques to you. And also your dad will just bring you back because there's a cult of resurrection out there that you can bring a body part to. So you're all smashed to shit on the floor. And safety certificates looks down on you and he says, "So what am I going to do with you? Leave you here to be found and humiliated? That could be fun, but you'll be back to your old tricks. Melting shopping cart wheels, stealing, putting rats in people's belongings."
Rex is gonna pick himself up and dust himself off and go, "You won fair and square." And Okay, yeah, I know what he's gonna do. He's gonna say, to the victor the spoils, and he's just gonna pull off his thing that lets him summon a familiar, and just toss it to safety certificates and get back to searching. He doesn't give a shit about this guy gloating. He has a job to do, so he can do essentially what he wants to him. Rex is already lost. He's accepted that he's taking another L, but he's here to do something, and he's not gonna stop unless he's forced to.
Wow. Okay. So this crown that someone's familiar is. What was the name of it again?
I called it like the Band of the Beast King. I think it's just like a leather kind of thong, as like a strip of leather with a bunch of like fangs and horns just drilled into it. He's just wearing it around his leg right now.
Yeah. Safety certificates picks it up. A little surprised. You're like picking yourself up. You're like oozing blood on the floor. Your like face is smashed. And he says, "I'm surprised. This item summons small folk who you seem to have no regard for."
I think Rex looks at him and goes, "Do you care about every person on the planet?"
No, of course not. And I take your meaning. I'm not a fool.
I am impressed by a number of small folk, Humdrum most of all. There are very few of your kind that can do what she does in that limited little space you call a life. And that is impressive. I can spend 1,000 years learning what Humdrum did in 50. That's not impressive. It's just time. If you're upset about me keeping her skills for the coming ages, don't be. Go learn it from her now.
I know something about time. And getting more of it. He seems contemplative for a moment. Why do you not cultivate your own small folk? You let them bring you gifts, but you have no community.
He's gonna say, until recently, I have asked nothing of them. They exist in my domain under my protection, and they do as they please. That is going to change in the coming days.
I would like to see that. What changes are you going to make? What kind of community are you going to build? He waves the Band of the Beast King and summons what kind of animal would like lick up the blood of your smashed face in the ground here and clean up the evidence? I was thinking like
A flock of butterflies. They drink blood.
huh?
Butterflies will drink blood given a chance.
Hell yeah.
Rex, the Butterfly King.
Maya hates butterflies. She's terrified of them.
Oh no.
It's not just sulfur butterflies that will drink blood given the chance. I've since learned that many different species of butterflies do this. So,
Yeah.
first result in Google.
Butterflies will drink blood due to the minerals found in it. But yeah, he's asking who are you gonna get to be your small folk? What are your plans?
So like Rex, so more specifically, I think he asked like, how am I going? Like, what am I going to change about them? Rex said he wants them to be like Humdrum, I believe in some way. No, hold on, I don't even remember what I said 5 minutes ago. Oh boy, it's been a long day, guys. Okay, Rex is going to simply say, there is little I need small folk to do for me. They don't fight my battles, and most of the time if I need something, I take it myself. But, as I just said, some small folk show let's say a knack for learning a skill in a period of time that, well, for dragons is a bit fast. I'm going to encourage them to do one thing and one thing only. Pick a skill and practice.
You're gonna min-max your minions? Minion min-maxing?
Yeah. Yeah, Rex's plan at this point is like, yeah, he can, like, in theory, mechanically at this point we're not leveling up and shit, right? But spend like 1,000 years trying to learn how magic works, and he'd make some progress on it, right? Or learn spend 100 years learning how to play guitar as a small folk or whatever. But he's basically going to tell his small folk, eventually, I guess during like the next downtime, you all have your own things that you like and you're good at. You're picking one of them and you're doing nothing but that. You want food? I'll handle it. You need a resource? I'll handle it. But you're gonna be playing that guitar. He's whiplashing them.
Goblinism. You've invented goblinism again. Goblinism. This is hard to say.
You gonna elaborate on that weird time comment, or are you just gonna be saying shit like my sisters?
Safety certificate just says, I wonder how your opinion of us would change if you woke up one morning and we all lived as long as you did.
I don't hate your kind, if that's what you're thinking. You're just simply not long lived enough to pay attention to.
Once upon a time, dragons were on the verge of extinction. Who knows what the future holds and how the balance of power could change.
Hey, Austin, I declare a cake and ice cream day for my people back home.
Yeah, Rex just sort of shrugs and says, I bear your kind no ill will. If we're done here, I have a job to do.
I've come all this way. I may as well see what secrets there are. Then behind you, there's like a swarm of butterflies drinking your blood, which is an extremely metal image. And he kind of walks slowly as you stumble around, because you were brought to one, or you were brought to 0 hit points. So you're basically, you're very badly hurt. What do you want to roll to search?
Let's see. What do I got? Okay. The only thing I could think of is, I guess we've kind of gone through a lot of these rolls already. The first thing Rex did when he got here is that he sniffed out all the foods and then the non-foods, right? The only thing that I think makes sense is that if I'm looking for a quote-unquote artifact, it's not going to probably be something consumable, like a cookie or like a food stuff, right? If anything, I'm looking for like the chef's knife that can cut anything, including the world or souls or something like that, right?
Sure.
So he's going to, I guess, try to smell out anything that doesn't fit in, like that isn't a food smell, like non-organic foodstuffs.
Okay. So is that perception because you're saying smell?
Sure, it's but most of these rolls are just a 1 or a -1 anyway, so
right.
It's at the end of the day, it's all the same. So perception, that's gonna be a 1. Let's see what we get.
Hey!
15.
All right, 15's pretty good. Yeah, you go sniffing around. I think, it's kind of hard because you have blood welling up in your nostrils. You spit a tooth out. It goes clattering. And you eventually find some what appears to be place settings. Like there is some kind of work that was being done here that isn't strictly food preparation. It seems to be part of a larger production. And I'll say with a 15, you can see that there are a number of like disassembled wedding cakes here. And the non-food stuff is like, there's like, like little dragon figurines that go on top of the cake. And there's like stationery for like wedding invitations and so forth. With a 15, what you find here is it looks like Andronicus has been preparing for some kind of wedding.
So if there's little figurines, I feel like this guy's probably attention to detail. They're gonna look like a dragon, and presumably this is a dragon here potentially. Does Rex recognize it?
Yeah, I think there are actually a bunch of different dragon figurines. One is Andronicus large, feathered, resplendent celestial dragon and a smart tux and tails, and then just dozen of lady dragons, including pretty much everyone you know. And I'm just gonna say, you look at this enough, you're picking them all up, looking at them. Safety certificates will say the subtext out loud, which is just, if he doesn't want to rule, anyone he marries or partners with would have his authority in his absence, and maybe they would not be so kind.
Oh, and I can imagine the short list of people looking for that social climb. I think my sister's one of them.
Yeah, so the basic things you discover here, I'll say with safety certificates helping you search, you're very confident there are no artifacts in the freezer, but something you realize about Andronicus, who has no ambition to replace your dad or rule with an iron fist, but if he married someone who did and then fucked off, that could be very bad.
Yeah. So did you just come down here to kick my ass, or did you have something else you wanted to do? Because I'm not sure, despite your claims that no one cares about a small folk, I don't think Enobarbus would necessarily be happy you're down here.
Kicking your ass did comprise a majority of the appeal, but I had heard that there were special treats that could fortify one's strengths.
Tell you what, I already melted his shit, so he's probably going to connect that it was me, considering I'm not up there competing. If we find him, you want to split it and get the fuck out of here?
He looks at you, and I don't know, a kind of grudging respect that you're being kind of baller about having your face caved in. And he says, am I going to have this conversation with you again, or are you going to show Master Humdrum the proper respect and Enobarbus the proper deference?
I think Rex kind of like rolls his jaw around, spits out another tooth, and says, if we happen to find ourselves in another one of these little competitions, fine. I'll play by your more straightforward desires. But let me make one thing clear. I've never disrespected Humdrum. She is the greatest small folk to walk these lands. None compare to her. Not DiCaprio's tailors. Not Desdemona's sniveling children. Obviously not Hop's incredibly dirty small... Don't go there. They so smelly. I know I'm supposed to be nicer to her, but geez. Running water, I'm begging you.
Yeah, I think Safety Certificus is greatly impressed by that declaration. Finds some of Andronicus's special cookies that permanently raise a stat by 1, and he gives you one as you leave. So on your level 1 sheet, you can't normally upgrade your stats, but this is one way you can. And also, he is going to clean up with the butterflies any evidence of you're here. You did bust down a wall, so he's going to know somebody is here. But your blood specifically isn't going to kind of trace back to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think Rex isn't actually going to rejoin the competition yet, because the only thing I could think that I think Rex would think to give himself like some cover is that he's going to go try to repair the table he fucked up earlier. Oh, I left the roll20 by accident, and the lights he turned off.
Aw, yeah. So back in the larder when you made a big mess.
Yeah, this isn't out of like the goodness of his heart. I think there might be a little bit of like I guess I kind of feel guilty about it if I'm forced to. But he needs some kind of cover story at this point.
I am doing my best to reduce some of the soup golem into more of a sort of condensed paste that I can use as like a drizzle to season my sandwich with. Just moisten it up nicely.
Wet the dries, dry the wets. Yeah, I know how it is.
Yeah.
I think in lieu of like actually doing something to like advance my cooking prowess, I think DiCaprio is going to ask her dad when he returns, basically like, Dad, have you ever had to sort of ingratiate yourself to one of your enemies before?
Wow, yeah. So your dad comes back, and I will say he cannot disguise what he is holding. It is the Tarask most people are probably familiar with is from the Dungeons & Dragons Monster Manual. It basically looks like Godzilla. It's a big lizard. But what he has here is a kind of special breed of Tarask from our world's French mythology. I don't know if you all want to describe what this looks like.
I am quite familiar. It's going to be a turtle lion thing.
Dan is 100% correct. Grasped in Orlando's claws is a giant creature, 6 legs. It
has feet for tongues?
No, it's eating someone. That is a leg hanging out of its mouth. It has, the jaws and head of a lion, the back carapace of a turtle, and like a long, reptilian tail. This is a true Tarask. This is like the classic Tarask that your dad is convinced has better meat. And he brings it over and drops it, and it starts howling and wailing and aggressively posturing at people because it is still extremely alive and fresh. And your dad says, "We're going to have to serve it rare, DiCaprio, but I promise you, are you familiar with the human invention of the veal?"
Has Hop done studies in there by chance?
You make the animals... If the animal's really sad, it tastes better, I think.
Yeah, Hop said something about animals being sad makes them delicious or something.
Yes, I think we're going to make this creature quite sad.